What's up, guys? This is Chase from AGM. So if you're not familiar with us, we are a combined, kind of one of the biggest combined manufacturers of both thermal, night vision, and digital optics, right? We do some IR laser light systems as well. But one of the common questions we get on the thermal side of things, being one of the most popular categories, right, that's been growing the last few years is from predator hunters specifically, is what type of thermal scope is best for coyote hunting, if I want to coyote hunt specifically. Well, as we've seen, you guys may have seen, we've got some other videos on our channel talking about form factor, right? And that's the form factor in these scopes between compact scopes, which we build for AR systems, and they want to be short and compact and lightweight as possible, versus this traditional 30 mil style, which a lot of guys are more familiar with daytime scopes on your bolt action rifles. Internally, the functionality is almost very similar. Form factor does not change the functionality of most thermals. A feature like a built-in LRF, like a laser rangefinder like we have in our Adder V2 series or our Rattler V3 series could come into play, but we have those in both compact and traditional, with and without, right? So coyote hunters just by nature are typically, hunting a smaller animal at longer ranges, right? So hog hunters, which kind of where the industry got its initial growth from, more popular in the South because they have so many hogs, is they want wider field of view. They don't care so much about laser range finding because they'll stock up within 50, 60 yards of a big group of hogs. So they want a wide field of view so they can make multiple shots on multiple animals in a group, right? So they're not so much carried about long range ballistics and things like that. That trend has started with predator hunters, coyote hunters specifically, is because they're looking to have a higher base magnification, which is the most important factor in a thermal scope if I'm a predator hunter, then they're looking at anything else, right? And what that means is the mathematical calculation that goes into a thermal scope, whether compact or a 30 mil tube, is your lens size, your sensor resolution, and your display resolution in the eyepiece. The higher display resolution you have, the higher base magnification you have. Why does that matter? Well, if I'm sitting there with a scope that's 2x, hog hunters love to have a really wide field of view. I half the resolution every time I double my base mag. So when I jump from 2 to 4, I'm not looking at a 640 scope or a 3D4 anymore. I've cut that resolution in half to get to 4x. So by the time I jump again to 8, I've halved it again, and that's about the max usable range. If I've got a 3.5, 4x base mag, which like we have in our Adder V2 scopes or our new Rattler V3s, because they're using bigger displays, what that does is allow you to make bigger jumps in the magnification range, which is, guys don't care less. They don't mind about having a real wide field of view. They don't mind a narrow field of view because they want to jump from 3 to 6 or 3.5 to 7 or 4 to 8, and they've just half the resolution at that point. They can then jump again to 14 or 16, and especially if they're buying a 640 1280 scope, they're still in a usable range of magnification because predator hunters are hunting smaller animals, longer distances, maybe 1 to 2, 3 max at a time. So they care less about a wide field of view, and they want to be a little more zeroed in, just like you see in a daytime scope. As you go up, an LPVO is 24 millimeter, 30, 32 millimeter, 28 millimeter objectives because it's a 1 to 6. They've got a real low base mag, right, of 1x. When you jump up to 50, 52, 56 millimeters on daytime, that's not starting at 1 to 2, right? Those are 4 to 16s. 8.5 to 25s, so on and so forth. It's the same thing with thermal. Bigger lenses usually correspond to a higher base mag than like a 35 millimeter, 25 millimeter, 19 millimeter. So keep an eye on the lens size, and then the resolution, the higher resolution of the display, separate that from the thermal resolution. Look at that in the spec sheet. That will have a higher base mag, and predator hunters tend to like that more. Form factors don't matter so much. We see guys putting 30 mil scopes on AR compact platforms all the time, or just semi-automatic platforms. And we have guys putting the compact models. They really like a new Rattler V3 with the in-lens LRF, and they want to use it as a monocular, so they want to put that on a bolt action. It all works fine. You just traditionally see predator hunters typically go the bolt action route. So just keep an eye on the base mag. That's probably the biggest determining factor if you're specifically a hog hunter, a predator hunter. I mean, that you're calling in coyotes or cats or whatever. So if you guys have any questions or suggestions or things you've noticed and how you hunt in a certain part of the country, just list them in the comments and we'll answer those best we can. Thanks, guys.